Hi there. We appreciate you sharing some of your valuable time with us as we discuss some of the benefits of rural living. Whether it's a newly built home on a steep 10-acre mountainside overlooking restful sloping valleys, or a peaceful cabin on 1 acre sitting right next to a rushing mountainside creek, perhaps a taste of the mountain life and rural area is just what the doctor ordered. But before making such a decision, let's take a look at a few of the advantages and pros versus cons of the rural life. Let's start by highlighting the greater value per acre. Simply stated, the bang for your buck you receive in terms of acreage is far greater than anything you'd find in or around any large city. While it would be impractical to compare any two parcels of land from a rural versus urban perspective, it's a near guarantee that the 2 acres for sale in any small town or rural area will be far more affordable than anything you'd find in Tampa, Florida, or Charlotte, North Carolina, for example. In many cases, the price per acre in any larger city will be many times multiple what you will pay for anything in the mountains or any general rural setting. So, it's not practical to compare apples to oranges, and that is not our intention. Our goal here is to simply illustrate that you will likely find a common theme when making such comparisons. The further away you are from a densely populated area, the cheaper you can usually expect to pay for a piece of property. Regarding rural areas and land found in any country setting, it should be noted that not all acreage is created equal in terms of expected market value. Generally speaking, anything with big views, think steep cliffs, valleys, long-range sunset horizons, for example, or water access, pond, creek, or river, will bring in a much greater premium than anything without these features. Based off of our experience in this market, we've found that even the slightest of any of these features, such as a small creek or even just a partial backyard sunset view, will oftentimes add a 10 to 20% value to an asking price. In some cases, such as riverfront, large cliffs, or massive long-range views that stretch for miles, these more remarkable features can easily add $100,000 to a property value. The fact that these features play such a critical role in terms of pricing and potential market value mean that, in our opinion, these special features should be one of the first things you determine from the beginning when shopping around for a piece of land. Is no backyard pond a deal breaker for you when choosing your rural area? How about a year-round rushing creek? What about westward-facing backyard sunset horizons? You see, if none of these things are important to you, we have good news, and you should be able to get a pretty sizable amount of rural acreage at a decent price. If the lack of any of these features are a deal breaker, for example, if a long-range sunset horizon is something you absolutely need in your backyard, our advice is to figure that out up front, prior to even shopping around for properties, so you know exactly what to look for in the rural areas. As previously mentioned, we strongly encourage you to determine these preferences and deal breakers prior to shopping around for land, as this will allow you to focus your energy and zero in on what you are looking for prior to going through the painstaking process of making these determinations after the fact. So let's talk about some of the financial benefits. The value per acre we just discussed is certainly applicable here, but the financial benefits of owning or living in rural areas must also be considered, as your dollar can oftentimes stretch much further from a long-term perspective. Home prices are generally much lower, and taxes associated with rural land and mountain parcels are oftentimes far easier to digest than that of their inner-city counterparts. A financial benefits list of rural living wouldn't be complete without mentioning the overall practicality for farming and small gardening as it relates to putting your own fruits and veggies on the dinner table to nourish your family. Let's extend this concept further in terms of networking. The ability to trade your homegrown goods and other tools and assets at local farmers markets and with neighbors in the surrounding community can also help lower grocery costs and overall cost of living, with the end result of strengthened communities, fuller bellies, and an overall boosted sense of personal prosperity. Another note that should be carefully considered is that living in rural areas typically may not be suitable for the instant gratification individuals and those who are dependent on convenience 24/7. For example, there may not be 3 different gyms, 17 gas stations nearby, or 4 different shopping centers in the area. In some cases, driving an hour or more for some of these basic creature comforts would be expected. So, if heavily optioned conveniences are important to you and your family, it is important to do some very thorough research on any rural area you are considering prior to making any decisions. So, in conclusion, as you can see, there are many factors that weigh in on whether living in a rural area is right for you and your family. We certainly didn't talk about everything, but if you've made it this far, we applaud you for doing your own homework and taking in as much information as possible prior to making any decisions, as this is obviously very important to consider all the pros and cons when making such choices. We do have a few articles on our website, mountainpads.com, that share future population growth perspectives, which may be helpful if you are looking to make a move. That's all for now. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon.